Haha, caught it just in time. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, the ITB Paladin, coming at you with, first off, a very messy background. It continues to get further and further messier. Wrong side. Got my work stuff all in this little vicinity, so by all means, roast me for a dirty room. I don't care. But I'm here because some big news just keeps dropping, and I think that they're still releasing stuff as I speak. But there's a... I might have to just move my camera around real quick. So there's a developer take on some of their values and everything that they're changing. I gave it a quick read, but I didn't go too far down. So, to make a very long story short, they basically have this thing going on right now for quick play to be quicker play, where they're basically mixing some things up for 3 days. They basically said in a nutshell that the purpose of doing this quicker play thing is to test out some extreme change-ups to the match that didn't fit into an experimental card and didn't fit into doing a card over in the arcade. This is something that they wanted to try to see if they can implement some positive changes into the game and mix things up and change up the game's dynamic without actually doing something long term. They just want to experiment for the 3 days and see how it works. I'm personally not as hyped, and I quite frankly just don't care. I honestly think of it as a bad idea. I see what they're trying to do, but it doesn't seem like it's very fun to me, and I hope that if this video does circulate to them in some way that they take that to heart. It just doesn't seem that interesting to me. I'm fine with the game where it is as far as playability and how the system functions. Obviously, there needs to be some tweaks, but I'm not the guy to make that comment. I can literally rattle off any ideas, but if you're not going to take feedback from me during that time, then why am I going to give feedback here? That's just my thought process, but whatever. So anyway, I'm going to give this a quick read verbatim. It's happy 2024. We're here at the start of a new year. Great idea to talk about our view. The director's take will be part of the series where we frame up the year according to the set of values we're using to develop the game. And they translated the goals in specific additions and changes to the game. A lot of different things coming up this year that they want to share. So think of this as the first in a series of topics to cover. So this is obviously part one that they mentioned. Where's my glasses? Dyslexia kicking in. I'm dropping my sunglasses. I don't need you to break. Stop. Anyway, one of the biggest values of Overwatch, of the Overwatch team, is to consistently improve the core PvP game. We kind of already know that that's their biggest focus. This is with a broad... Let me just make sure I'm... Yes, okay, good. Oh my god, why do I keep burping? One of the biggest values, blah, blah, blah. This is a broad topic spanning both in-game and out-of-game systems, and I'd like to look at where we are with the actual in-match experience, the moment-to-moment combat. I'll talk about what we think is working, what isn't working, and we go into some plans for the future. And additional takes in the series will look at the systems surrounding the PvP experience, such as our competitive system, hero balance, and economy. I'll also take some time to talk about future events and limited-time game modes, as well as the larger systems that we have possibly coming up to the game. So it's kind of good. I like it. Transparency. So first time in a while, so I hope that they continue this trend. I would say maybe a monthly at worst and a bi-weekly at best. It would be a good time frame for these director's takes for transparency, even if you're just basically like, hey, we didn't forget about X thing, or we're working on Y thing, and I hope that this is a more consistent than like once every few months. They need to do it a little bit quicker than that. So let's get into the Overwatch gameplay, starting with the obvious. It's a team-based, hero-based, multiplayer competitive shooter. But I like how they put in the competitive portion. Heroes, maps, and game modes are all designed to require teams to work together to successfully win a match, and when a team works together, each player using their hero to their fullest potential while relying on each other to execute a strategy, the game feels magical. There's really no other FPS like it. However, when this isn't happening, the players are working on their own, the game is far from magical and can become frustrating. I mean, it can happen even in the first term, but whatever. Yeah, we'll continue. The reliance on teammates can simultaneously be one of the best and worst attributes of our game. You said it, not me. We want to improve this, and we want to improve this by looking at the game through the lens of teamwork and make it easier for players to be part of a team while also lessening some of the pain when it's not happening. I like that approach. I actually did. This is part of the portion that I did read, so I'm going to kind of get a more specific read while I'm making this video. In fact, a lot of our goals for improving the core game stem from looking at Overwatch as a whole, improving the parts of the game that are working, and finding fixes for the parts that are negatively affect the experience. That's good. Emphasis on improving the parts of the game that are working. There are times when you might overdo it and be like, oh, hey, this is working, but we can improve upon it. Sometimes you go so far in improving upon it that you literally, you take the step forward. Oh, it worked. Another step forward. 10 steps back. So, emphasis on that. Let's hope that they don't mess that one up. We've already implemented some features to align with this. The ping system, the newer spawn together system. I'm going to skip past this because I'm pretty sure everybody knows what that is, but it's basically like if you spawn, if you die within a certain time frame of each other, you all spawn at the same time. The system will get a tuning pass in Season 9 to make it more prominent. That's good. But we are talking about other features that will make it easier for players to work together as a team. Party frames is one of these. Okay, so party frames. What's this? Because I didn't actually read this part. These are the on. Oh yes, no, I know what this is. Party frames are the on-screen player health indicators that we use for PvE events. This is something that I know that the community has been kind of on and off about. Like, it hasn't been so prominent on the feedback that I've seen personally, but I know it's been mentioned every once in a while, like, hey, this would be a great addition to the PvP experience, because now you can see your team without having to press the tab button, and you can tell what their health is at, you can go to the ones in need, and support heroes would obviously benefit the greatest, and it would make their life a whole lot easier. Other possible features such as backfill improvements. Oh my god, yes, backfill improvements. Changes to our scoreboard. I mean, the scoreboard's not bad. It's very simplified, and I do like it, but I guess it could use some improvements. Again, I refer back to my earlier argument there. I don't have ways of improving it. I have to probably do a deep dive on everything if I'm going to put an informed opinion. And ways to mitigate spawn camp. Oh my god, yes. 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 Spawn camping. I'll be 100% admitful, and this is probably telling. I do play the player versus AI from time to time. The reason I do it is because I want to sometimes just shut my brain off further than what quick play allows. And the ability to leave unhindered. It basically is like they don't reward you a lot, but they don't punish you either. So when I want to play the game, but I want to turn my brain completely off, I do versus AI just for the hell of it. And to be quite honest, the spawn camping kind of affects into all the game modes. It doesn't really matter. If there's a spawn point that, is prominent in team play matches, spawn camping is always a thing. And when you're versing the AI, it doesn't matter if it's the easiest or hardest difficulty. I find it very, very stupid that some players will just spawn camp the AI so that they can't come out. But then you have to think to yourself, why are you doing these bad habits? Like, would you actually do this in a real game mode, or would you play more cautiously? Why is it that you're having this power trip in versus AI? Don't develop bad habits. That's just my standpoint. But I understand some people are just heavily against versus AI, like, why do you even go in there? And then some of them are like, yeah, let's just play together and have fun. That's how the way they want to play it. So, either way. Spawn camping to align with this. Keep hearing something behind me. To show the extent of our discussions, even an ally-only mini-map feature is discussed, and he doesn't think that that's going to be in there, but they do think that the party frames are likely. That's good sheer honesty. I don't think a mini-map is necessary. The only mini-map... Here's the thing. The maps are big, but they're small enough that you do not need the mini-map. And you could argue that there's been, like, in Call of Duty's instances, like, smaller maps by size ratio when you translate from Overwatch and Call of Duty. And you could be like, oh, hey, they have mini-maps either way, so it works for them. Here's the thing. The UI clutter is already there. And there's things that you have to really consider. Do you necessarily need that clutter? And do you honestly need that extra thing to pay attention to? The mini-map is not important. It is an objective-based minigame. It's an objective-based shooter where the objective is highlighted on your map regardless when you look the general direction. You can literally, out of basically every map, I haven't had an issue, but out of every map aside from, like, the new core game mode of Flashpoint, which I'm going to quickly just throw this out there. I hate that game mode with a passion. But aside from those exceptions, I've been able to get to the point without having to get lost. Like, oh, I made a wrong turn to Albuquerque. Flashpoint has been the only one that's led me on these different things, like, oh, hey, the point is going this way. I go there and I hit a dead end. And it's like, why is this even a pathway? Like, this isn't even good for flanking if you're going the opposite direction. Like, what the hell? But I'm going on a rant. Let's continue. PSA, I really want Flashpoint gone. I'll make another video on that. It's our hope that staying closer to your teammates and having more information on what they're doing will help encourage the team play, but what happens when your team is not working well together? That's a good question. I think they meant to put weed. We definitely want to make this as little less frustrating, and we talked about the new competitive system coming in season 9, but there's a massive set of gameplay and balance changes coming into that season as well. Many of those changes are aimed at reducing damage strikes in combat, talking about burst damage. I won't get into all of that here. We're working on a standalone post to be published closer to the start of that season. I like that. But for the sake of the current discussion, I'd like to talk about one aspect of it. In Season 9, both tank and damage heroes will get a modified, tuned-down version of support self-healing passive. This should give non-support players more options in terms of sustaining themselves. It should also take some of the pressure off support players to keep everyone alive, since individual players now will have more control of their own health pool. In Overwatch, there's a constant tug of war between the power of a team and the power of an individual hero or player. A change like this shifts that balance a bit. This is something that we are constantly evaluating, and we still want Overwatch to be defined as a team strategy and mechanics, but we feel that this could be pulled back a bit now and possibly more in the future. So I'll continue on that in just a second, but essentially what I'm thinking, based off of hearing that information, they need to find the balance where, how do I word this properly? They need to find the balance, because here's the thing, the support heroes need to do the healing. They need to do the healing to build up on their ults. They need it to help with upkeep of their team. And yes, this kind of helps them with their job, but it does take away a little bit from their healing abilities. And I would really hope that they tune it and balance it properly. You don't really need heavy self-healing when it comes to damage or support or anything like that. And I think it would be very helpful in situations where you're just not able to get healing, and especially since I've been running into, like, in 2 of my matches, some support players who have a very bad mentality of, like, oh, if you spam I need healing, then you may as well go find a health pack because I'm not healing you. And it's like, that's bad team play. Like, you're doing something very stupid. I've run into 2 of it. So it's not a very occurring problem based on what I'm playing with and based on what I'm seeing. But it is a possibility. But support heroes still need this, and it helps them in their ult economy. Is the thing I was looking for here. So hopefully they find a way to mitigate this by either lowering the value of supports by a certain percentage to make up for the loss that they'll have with teammates self-healing. Because it's basically the equivalent of they look for a health pack, except they don't have to go look for a health pack. I don't know. Let's finish this up. We're also actively looking for new ways to improve the core gameplay experience. We just launched our first quick play hacked event. Yeah, I don't care. Particular event designed to look at how these changes affect player psychology. For instance, if a player spends less time waiting in spawn, will getting eliminated by an opponent be less frustrating? If matches are shorter, will each loss have the same sting that it currently does? They're asking some pretty dumb questions. I'm sorry. That you didn't need to. You could literally just ask someone, and they'll probably tell you, and you'd get a 99.9% accurate answer to what it is that you're trying to get. If you actually implemented everything, whatever. There are also other out-of-game benefits that should come to this event, such as a quicker matchmaking and quicker challenge completion. Based on the reception of these changes, the team might make some of them permanent or use them as the basis for other ideas to improve the game. That's what these quick plays are designed to do. Don't care, quicken the feedback loop, and allow for swifter implementation. In fact, we have one more coming later in Season 8. You can learn about quick play hacked here. They just mentioned that there's... Do a quicken loop. More coming later. Oh, okay, they have one more hacked quick play thing coming in the future. That's what they're talking about. And that's it for this week. So this is the information that they sent us. Let me see if they did anything. No, just part 1. Yeah, and then other than that, they had the balance patch over on January 12th. Quicker play, let's hack into quick play. Yeah, I don't freaking care. Nobody cares. And then the people that do care, okay, have fun. I don't care. I don't care still. All right, so with that being said, let me know what your guys' thoughts are below. I have to actually work this weekend, so apart from this video that I'm uploading, I'm also doing one for a Rankle, which I'm just going to make shortly after this video anyway. You'll probably notice the background differences anyway when it comes to that, so I'll put that together in a compilated video and we'll go from there. Other than that, you guys have a good one.